Hello, BookTube, and welcome to your Daily Penguin. This is our tour through my Penguin Classic wall. I'm afraid no Frida intro today. This won't be a long video in any case, but no Frida intro today because it's a little too warm. She's not, she doesn't handle the heat well. We're going to go on a walk in a bit, and that's going to take everything out of her, and she doesn't really want me fussing over her or holding her at all. It's a fairly warm day. I can't get enough of it. I operate on basic rules these days, a handful of basic rules. The music is always too loud, I am always hungry, and it is always too cold. But on days like today, that third one comes close to not being true. But we're going through my penguins, and we have left predictability behind, and that is going to show again today, because today we're doing an English novel. And not only an English novel, but in many ways the greatest English novel of them all. This is Middlemarch by George Eliot. I have the Penguin Mass Market here with a figure going to a country church, which is edited by W.J. Harvey. And then I have a trade paperback, which is edited by Rosemary Ashton. There's a young woman talking to an old woman in a bonnet. And then another Penguin trade paperback. This is also Rosemary Ashton. So these two are the same. I don't know why I have doubles, much less a triple. And there's more too. I have a Penguin Classic hardcover of Middlemarch, and I also have a Penguin Classic Deluxe edition of Middlemarch. So one of the things I've mentioned about this, Your Daily Penguin, is that it's helping me. It's helping me to streamline and take control of my Penguin Classic wall. And one of the ways to do that, obviously, is to get rid of quintuple copies of a book, But this is, George Eliot wrote this at the height of her powers, as the critical phrase goes, from 1871 to 1872. It came out over the course of a year. It came out as a book after that. And it's the story of a provincial English town in the 1830s and all the people in it and what the things that concern them and the love affairs and the marriages, most infamous of which being the main character, Dorothea Brooke, who decides to marry Mr. Casaubon, even though he's older than she is, considerably older than she is, and even though he has no social graces whatsoever, he's just a dried up academic. The match is horrifying, absolutely horrifying. Everyone that knows Dorothea Brooke finds it horrifying, but she likes the idea of Casaubon's mind and his great ongoing work, a key to all mythology. She likes the idea of being respected by an intellectual man. She doesn't like the vapidity of her country life all around her, and she voluntarily makes the decision. It's not ordinarily a mismatch like that in Jane Austen, for instance, or in Trollope would be at least partly due to family machinations, but in this case, no. No, it's all Dorothea's idea. But there are other matches too in here, and there's a wild card, Will Ladislaw. There's a wild card as well, and there's a nominal villain who gets his nominal comeuppance in the end, and unlike a lot of nominal villains, he's totally three-dimensional. But that's the case with Middlemarch, with all of its characters. They're all three-dimensional. This is an astonishing work, just astonishing. Critics at the time didn't really know what to make of it. Some critics made the cardinal error of reviewing the installments instead of waiting for the book. They knew perfectly well it was going to be a novel, but they reviewed it as it was coming out. That's never a good idea. But I think it baffled a lot of other critics as well, because George Eliot is trying something here, succeeding marvelously at something, where she is just God, a goddess. She knows everything about every one of her characters, inside and out. So we get the observational, the manners minutiae of Jane Austen, but we also get the psychological minutiae of Henry James. And you get them in the same book by the same person, and it is just an utterly marvelous, incredible performance. Obviously, I'm not breaking any new ground here by praising Middlemarch in Your Daily Penguin, but it's the next book that we came upon here is this great novel. If you made a list of the top 10 novels in English, actually, if you made a list of the top 10 novels, period, this would be on that list. It'd be right up near the top. And that's a hard list to get on, considering how many billions of novels there have been. Henry James, for instance, wouldn't get on that list at all. not even at number 10. So I cannot recommend this strongly enough. it's a big brick of a thing. It's often taught in schools, less often now because 21st century puritanical censors don't like the fate of Dorothea Brooke in this book. They don't like anything about the portrayal of Dorothea Brooke in this book. And of course, a novel written in the 1870s has to reflect their experience on Twitter today. If it doesn't, then it's evil. It's worse than Hitler. So I don't know the fate of Middlemarch being taught in schools, but as far as you yourself pulling it off the shelf and reading it, it's incredible. Just incredible. I cannot sing its praises highly enough. So so that's your Daily Penguin for today, with no Frida, is Middlemarch by George Eliot in triplicate. And it could be worse. It could be, there are many other copies of this book in this room, and there shouldn't be. So I will deal with that before I put anything back on the shelf. I will deal with that. And we'll be back tomorrow, and who knows? Who knows what we'll have tomorrow? Who knows what the Penguin will be then? I'll find out when you do. I'm intentionally not scouring the shelves ahead of time, so we'll see. We'll find out. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.